Over the past few months, I have started to clear some of my books off shelves. Books that I've had all over the years, even from university days. And I thought, right, it's time to decide what I'm keeping and what's going away. Some of the books I've had, I could pass on to others, and I've tried to do that. But then I'm left with a few. And I reckon nobody wants these. They went back to medieval history. And I didn't really think there was a big demand on that subject just at the moment. So what do I do with them? I'll try a charity shop. So I went to a charity shop a few miles away. And I was quite honest with them and said, look, I have these, amongst others here. I don't think I can pass them on, and maybe they're not any good to you. I don't want to burden you with them, but I'll just take chance. To which I immediately got the reply, oh yes, we'll take them all. You see, people use books for decoration today. Now that took me back. I always thought, well, if I buy a book, I want to read it. I don't want it to sit on a shelf and look at it, but who am I? Such is the change in decor today and design. At least that got rid of 14th century medieval history books. And if you're interested, I'll tell you where you can go get them. I had a few more older books. So I put them in a box, went down to another charity shop, which I thought, well, they might take these. And the chap went through them all. And then he said to me, do you see these? Oh, yes, I said, I didn't know whether to give them or not. But I have to cut down on the amount I have. I've only a limited shelf life, or shelf space, should I say, for the future. Well, he said, they're 1930s, 1938. They're not first edition, unfortunately. But still, I would hold on to those. I was glad he did, in a way, say that, because I was able to bring them home and say, no, I can't get rid of these. You know, we need to hold on to them. There are books entitled Just William. Maybe you've seen this series. We were used with it when we went on holidays. It would have been a cassette tape originally, then a CD of the Just William stories. And while originally here in 1938, they nevertheless kept 3 children in the back seat, quiet, and they stopped saying, are we nearly there yet? So that's Just William. And when I brought them home, I said, well, you know, at this time, for a bit of light relief, in these circumstances, I'll just rediscover Just William and go a little bit down memory lane. Quite a few more of those, and I'm keeping. If I take you into the Old Testament, there's a little connection with my approach to these. These had been on my shelf for ages and ages, and it's only when I took them down that I say, ah yes, but can I hold on to them? They've been sitting up amongst all the others. And in the Old Testament, in a book called 2 Chronicles and chapter 34, there's a story about a king. He's a young king. He came to take the throne of Israel, Israel being called as God's people. And his name is Josiah. And Josiah decided, look, I'm going to tidy things up in this country, and even spiritually. And someone came to him and said, you know, we have found a book, or maybe in those days it might have been more a parchment or a scroll, but our equivalent to a book. It's been away, out of sight, out of mind. And for a long time, nobody has looked at it. We had forgotten it was there. And King Josiah looked at it and he said, that's from the law of Moses. That's what God said through Moses to the people, to them in the past, to us now. And we've forgotten about it. And King Josiah decided, well, we're going to open it up again. We're going to listen to what God said. We're going to rediscover. And when you go to the end of that chapter, you find a young king for a long time and the people along with him on a new course, and the nation on a new way. I suppose, too, this encompasses a bit of the law of Moses at the beginning when Moses led the people of Israel. We, of course, now have the New Testament and the rest of the Old Testament, and it's an equivalent to God's Word as Josiah looked at it. God's Word to us in our day. I wonder what happened in Josiah's day. Did people just drift away? Did they forget? Or maybe did they leave it to the side and say, well, it's not just relevant, but they found a difference. For me to bring this out, a collection of books in the Bible, fairly old, they're very relevant. And I hope we'll be able to open it and not leave it to be forgotten, but find that God says something to us, not only in the past, but he speaks to the present. We're going through a difficult time with the virus, trying to come out of lockdown and other things. The days ahead might seem a bit dark, but God speaks to life. And maybe in our lives things have been disappointing, uncertain, but he speaks to us right now. He speaks also about death, and sadly we've seen many deaths. And he tells us how to face it, how to manage it, and what happens after it. And for me, that's quite unique. And then in this book, he also speaks to the nation and gives guidance on how leaders might lead and govern a nation and what they really need. I hope it's more than just rediscovering. But I'll be opening these and continuing to read. I suppose you might say to me, that's a trip down memory lane. Yeah, it is. I hope when I read this, it's not a trip down memory lane or you or me, but it's something that's living, relevant, speaking to my life today and tomorrow and the future, whatever it may bring, that God speaks through a living word that he doesn't want us to forget and put to the side. So I leave you with a verse from the book of Psalms. Your word will be a lamp to my way and a light for my path. Your word will be enough light for my way today and plenty of light for my way tomorrow. And I hope for you and for all of us, we will know that light, we and ours.